The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Chen walked to the central podium, her footsteps echoing against the crystalline walls. Around her, representatives from 12 species observed with expressions ranging from curiosity to barely concealed contempt. The Zephyrians' metallic carapaces gleamed under the artificial light, while the Korath delegates flexed their razor-sharp claws impatiently. "Humans," sneered Overlord Vextar of the Korath Empire, his voice a guttural growl that reverberated through the chamber's translation matrix. "Your species wishes to join our military coalition against the Devourers, yet you bring nothing but soft flesh and brittle bones to the battlefield." Ambassador Chen remained composed, though she could feel the weight of every alien gaze upon her. The human delegation had expected this reception. For months, Earth's application to join the Galactic Defense Alliance had been met with ridicule. Their bodies lacked the armored hide of the Korath, the energy-resistant shells of the Zephyrians, or the regenerative capabilities of the Nexari. In a universe where warfare often came down to who could endure the most punishment, humanity appeared laughably inadequate. "Your assessment is noted, Overlord," Chen replied evenly. "However, we believe our species has qualities that may prove valuable in the coming conflict." A sound that might have been laughter echoed from the Nexari delegation, a wet, bubbling noise that made several other species visibly uncomfortable. "Qualities?" wheezed Ambassador Grexel, his gelatinous form pulsing with amusement. "Your soldiers die from injuries that would barely inconvenience our younglings. Your bones shatter, your skin tears, your organs fail from the slightest trauma." The criticism wasn't unfounded. Humanity's first contact with galactic civilization had been educational. When human explorers had attempted to participate in routine military exercises, the results had been embarrassing. A Korath warrior could take a plasma burst to the chest and keep fighting. A human would be vaporized. Zephyrian soldiers could march for days without rest, their mechanical bodies requiring only occasional energy cells. Humans needed sleep, food, water, luxuries the galaxy couldn't afford in wartime. "Perhaps," interrupted Commander Thexney of the Void Seekers, her forearms gesturing dismissively, "we should assign your people to logistics. Paperwork seems more suitable to your capabilities." Chen felt a flicker of anger but suppressed it. This was exactly the opening she needed. "If the Council would permit," she said, "I'd like to propose a demonstration." The chamber erupted in what passed for alien laughter across a dozen species. Overlord Vextar's predatory grin revealed rows of serrated teeth. "A demonstration? Will you show us how efficiently your warriors can retreat?" "A simple endurance test," Chen continued, ignoring the jeers. "One representative from each willing species. A straightforward task. Continuous movement across varied terrain until only one remains mobile." The aliens exchanged glances. Such tests were common in their cultures, though usually over relatively short durations. Their superior physiology made extended effort unnecessary. They could accomplish in minutes what would take others hours. "Very well," rumbled Vextar. "Let us witness humanity's futility firsthand." 3 days later, the testing ground on the neutral moon of Kepler 7 hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from 8 species had volunteered, confident in their biological superiority. The course was simple: a 50-kilometer circuit through desert, forest, and mountainous terrain that would need to be completed repeatedly until only one participant remained mobile. Chen watched from the observation platform as the contestants prepared. Vextar had entered himself, his massive Korath frame bristling with natural armor. The Zephyrian representative, designated Unit 447, ran final diagnostics on its mechanical systems. Other species had sent their finest specimens, creatures evolved or engineered for combat in the harshest environments. The human representative was unremarkable by comparison. Sergeant Maria Santos, a marathon runner from Earth's military, looked almost comically fragile beside her competitors. Her only equipment was standard-issue clothing, water, and basic nutrition supplements. The first lap confirmed everyone's expectations. The aliens surged ahead with supernatural speed and strength. Vextar bounded across rocky terrain that would challenge a human climber. Unit 447 maintained a pace that would have been a dead sprint for Santos, who settled into what appeared to be a gentle jog far behind the pack. By the 5th lap, some participants were showing signs of fatigue. The Nexari representative, built for short bursts of intense activity, had begun to slow noticeably. Still, Santos remained dead last, her steady pace unchanged. It was during the 12th lap that the first competitor collapsed. The Thermal Lord's representative, designed for high-energy combat, simply stopped moving as its internal temperature regulation failed. Santos passed the motionless figure without changing her rhythm. The observers on the platform had grown quiet. Chen noticed several alien dignitaries checking their chronometers with increasing frequency. "Impossible," muttered Commander Thexney as the 20th lap began. Of the original 8 contestants, only 4 remained mobile. The Nexari and Thermal Lords had long since withdrawn, and 2 other species had ceased movement after their burst-focused physiology betrayed them. Santos maintained her steady jog, now in 3rd place. Her breathing remained controlled, her stride consistent. Sweat covered her face, but she showed no signs of the catastrophic failure that had claimed the other competitors. By the 28th lap, only Vextar and Unit 447 remained ahead of the human. The Korath warrior's mighty bounds had become labored shuffles, his armor-plated hide steaming with exertion. The Zephyrian's mechanical systems were operating at maximum efficiency, but warning indicators flashed across its optical sensors. Lap 35 saw Unit 447 servomotor seize. The mechanical being, built for overwhelming force, had never been designed for extended operation. As Santos passed the motionless figure, she was alone with Vextar on the course. The Korath overlord had slowed to barely more than a walking pace, his massive frame trembling with each step. His species' legendary resilience had carried him far beyond what any other organic being could achieve, but even his enhanced physiology had limits. Santos, meanwhile, had found her rhythm. The human body's inefficient cooling system, mocked by every species in the galaxy, had become an advantage. While others had burned through their energy reserves or overheated their systems, she had maintained a sustainable pace that could theoretically continue indefinitely. On lap 41, Vextar collapsed. Santos completed 3 more laps alone before Chen finally signaled for her to stop. The human jogged over to the observation platform, breathing hard but still mobile, still alert, still capable of continuing. The council chamber was utterly silent. "The Devourers," Chen said quietly, "don't stop. They don't rest, they don't retreat, and they don't negotiate. Every species in the galaxy has tried to match their immediate strength, their instant lethality, their overwhelming force." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But warfare isn't always about who can hit the hardest. Sometimes it's about who's still standing when the dust settles." She gestured toward Santos, who was helping medical personnel tend to Vexitar, the fallen Korath warrior who had, moments before, been mocking humanity's weakness. "We may be fragile," Chen continued, "but we are persistent. We endure, we outlast. And in a war of attrition against an enemy that never stops, that might be exactly what the galaxy needs." The vote to admit humanity to the Galactic Defense Alliance was unanimous.